Hey everybody, Steve Sevcik from Should Have Been Engineering here. Um, Beautiful, nice warm July day here in Florida, and I'm sporting my 2020 haven't been to the barber shop yet haircut because I'm doing my lockdown thing. And so I wanted to do, I see on the forums right now and the Facebook pages a lot of guys that are now getting their new to them Concours. So lots of 2008s and 9s and 10s are being bought. Younger guys typically are buying them, but because they're picking them up for not a lot of money. I mean, the prices are great on them right now, and it's just a huge deal. But the Concours has kipass, and kipass is using the fob instead of a key. And there's not a lot of information. It's out there, but it's hard to find at one time to really understand it. And like, who wants to go read the manual? I get that. So I thought I would kind of do like a kipass tutorial to kind of let you know what goes on with kipass. All right. I want to try to make it simple and have you understand why we have these two different pieces right here. Okay, so first of all, I think Kawasaki did kipass because they were also doing the ZX14, and kipass is pretty handy that keep your Concours from being stolen for parts for all those blown up ZX14s that are out there. So kipass has it does have some features to it that are kind of really somebody's kind of got to show you. If they don't show you, you're not going to quite get it. So happens all the time. Guys will say, "Oh, I lost my fob. I don't have a fob," and then they don't have this little immobilizer. And and if you lose your fob and you don't have any way to physically turn the key, the ignition key, if you can't physically turn the ignition key and have your bike power up, well, you're pretty screwed. Okay, and that's where you see those guys spending $1,500 to buy a new kipass head unit and stuff like that, and the kipass computer. So let me kind of give you the tutorial on it. Okay, first of all, you should have multiple either fobs or immobilizer. Now this is called a fob, and it works off of radio frequency, and this is called an immobilizer. I've also heard of it referred to as a credit card fob. This is battery operated, this is not. This is a little proximity fob. So this actually has to be touched to the bike in order to have it work. So let me give you kind of a quick rundown. There's actually two features in here. First of all, you have the radio frequency portion of it, so that if you have your fob, let's say it's in your pocket, you can walk up to your bike, you can just push down your key and turn it, and the bike will light up for you so that you can start it and ride away or do whatever you're going to do. Okay, now what a lot of people don't know is the second part of the feature for your fob. Let's say you have a situation where the battery in your fob has died. Okay, this has what's called an immobilizer feature in it. So you would basically pop the key out, and you see in the back here where that little square is. What you would do is take your fob and you would put your fob down. Remember, I'm showing this like as if this is the front of the bike. So you take that little cutout, and there's a block on the front of the kipass ignition unit. Okay, so like right where your key is and the ignition head, in front of it, you reach your finger down there, you're going to feel a little block that kind of juts forward, and it fits right in there. And so you just take this and put it down onto that little block, and now there's a proximity fob inside of here. And so that what would happen then is, now remember that we're talking about if your fob battery has died. Okay, so you put this down onto that kipass head, push your key, turn it, lights up, you can do what you want to do. Okay, that's called the immobilizer feature. Okay, now one thing that everybody should do if you have a fob is to do this test. Okay, first of all, you walk up to the bike and you try to start the bike, and it starts, and now you know your radio frequency portion is functioning. Then take your fob apart and take the battery out, put it back together with the battery out of it, and then go and check the immobilizer portion. because inside the ECU, there's two different things that have to be keyed into the ECU through the KDS system. One of them is the number of the fob, and that's what's going to cover the radio frequency portion of it. But the other one is the proximity immobilizer portion of the fob. And that's just stored in the key pass head, which is actually where the key is. That information is stored there. That does not require a number, okay? One more thing about fobs. If you were to buy a fob from somebody else, if you don't get the numbers that are on the bag of that fob, that fob originally came in, the fob is useless to you because you have to have those numbers. Now, you could technically use the immobilizer portion of it, and because you don't have to have numbers for the immobilizer portion, so you could make a used fob work as an immobilizer if you needed to. Okay, but again, you have to have a kipass unit, so your dealer is going to do this, or someone who has a kipass unit. I'm sorry, a KDS unit. And that's how they're going to get these to function with your bike. So here's a worst case scenario. You buy a new bike and you get one fob, okay? Now, what happens if you lose it? I mean, all of us have lost keys at one time or another, okay? So the fobs are expensive. They're like 300 and something bucks. So here's the best way out of this, okay? Remember, there's two ways that you can get your bike to turn on. One of them is by the radio frequency, and the other one is by the immobilizer, okay? Well, Kawasaki also offers these little, what's called, they're immobilizers. And like I said, I've heard them called credit card fobs, but there's no battery in it, and it's strictly immobilizer function, okay? So down here on this corner, and I don't know if you can see it, but you can see where the key is, and over here there's a little arrow, okay? So what you would do to use this is, first of all, you're gonna buy one at your dealer, okay? They're like 37 bucks, and have the dealer make this function with your bike using his KDS system. All you have to do is, he hooks it up with KDS, he's gonna take this and touch it on the steering head, right on that same block that I talked about earlier. The KDS unit will go bing, then it recognized it, and now this little immobilizer is now recognized by your motorcycle. And again, they're like 37 bucks, okay? So you can buy one or two of these and have them, you know, as spares or stashed someplace or whatever. And now you can always go and be able to turn your key and get your lights to come on your bike, okay? And you didn't have to go and spend 300 and something dollars to buy another fob. You just spent $37 and, you know, however much your dealer is going to charge you to key in this immobilizer, okay? So basically, that's pretty much it. This is the importance of why you should buy these little immobilizers and have an extra, like I said, have an extra 1, 2, 3, you know, depending on your tolerance for feeling like you might ever lose something. But it's an awful lot of money if you have to buy another kipass unit, and not an awful lot of money to buy one of these, okay? And don't forget, as long as you have an immobilizer and you can get your bike to turn on, you can then, if you wanted to buy another fob, you can go buy another fob with the proper numbers, bring it to the dealer, have the dealer key that fob in with the KDS unit, okay? And now you have another fob, okay? So you don't have to go and spend the 300 and something dollars. Let's say you never lose your fob the whole time you own it. You're not going to have to go and spend 300 and something dollars. You spend $37 in the cost that they're going to charge you to use the KDS unit. And as long as you can turn the key and get your bike to power up, you're going to be able to fix any kind of problem there would be, either with the bike or, you know, riding the bike, or adding in more ways to be able to unlock the bike, to start the bike, okay? So I hope that covered it. That's your saving grace right there, $37 immobilizer. Don't forget it. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. That's something that I wanted to get out there. This stuff is really important to understand and kind of demystify it. But again, for about the 15th time, get an extra 1 or 2 immobilizers. They don't cost a lot of money. and that'll save you a lot of money if things ever go wrong for you. Okay? All right, come see me at Should Have Been Engineering. I've obviously you're watching this on my YouTube channel, and I've got my website Should Have Been Engineering. And if you have a Concours, either C14 or the old C10, you probably know who I am. Okay, so that's great. Have a good summertime.